Today is a great day. God woke you up. That alone means something. And if you're listening to this, it's about to get better. This is built, not felt by the Rise Code. Let's build together. Let's rise together. Let's get into it. Your deepest fear is not that you are inadequate. Your deepest fear is not that you will fail. Your deepest fear is that you will live a full life and never fly. That you will never leap. You're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of dying before the world sees who you truly are. That's what we are exploring today. Not the fear of falling, the fear of never jumping at all. Because here's the truth, you already know what it takes to get back up. You've fallen before, you've gotten back up before, you know how to do it. So the question isn't whether you can survive the fall, question is whether you're willing to leap. There's a quote by Marianne Williamson that goes like this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is a light, not a darkness, that most frightens us. Think about that for a moment. It's not our weakness that frightens us. It's our power, it's our potential, it's the possibility of who we could become. Because if you acknowledge your power, you have to use it. If you acknowledge your potential, you have to pursue it. If you acknowledge who you could become, you have to become it. And that's terrifying because it requires a leap. It requires stepping into the unknown. It requires revealing yourself to the world. Most men don't fear inadequacy, they fear adequacy. They fear being capable because capability demands action. But here's what Williamson is saying, your light is what frightens you, your greatness is what frightens you. Not because greatness is hard to achieve, but because greatness is hard to hide. Once you step into your power, the world sees you. And that visibility is what terrifies most men. So let's talk about the leap. What does it mean to leap? It means to take action despite the fear. It means to step into the unknown. It means to reveal yourself to the world. And here's what can happen when you leap. There are three outcomes. First, you leap and fly. You take the leap, you step into power, and you soar. You succeed. You become who you were meant to be. The world sees a light and you live a full life. Second, you leap and land on something soft. You take the leap, you step into the unknown, and you don't soar, but you don't crash either. You land on something soft, you learn, you adjust, you try again, and eventually you fly. Third, you leap and fall hard. You take the leap, you step into the unknown, and you fall hard. You fail, you get hurt, it's painful. But here's the thing, you already know what it takes to get back up. You've fallen before, you've gotten back up before, you know how to do it. So all three outcomes have the same ending. You get back up and you succeed. The only outcome you haven't experienced yet is the one where you never leap at all. The one where you're safe, the one where you never fly, the one where you live a full life and never become who you were meant to be. That's the outcome that should terrify you. Not the fall, the never jumping. Here's what most men don't understand. Your greatest fear is not that you will fall. Your greatest fear is that you will live a full life and never fly, that you never leaped. You're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of dying before the world sees who you truly are. Think about that. Think about reaching the end of your life and realizing you never became who you could have been. You never stepped into your power. You never revealed your light to the world. That's a different kind of death. That's death before death. That's a life unlived. And most men choose that. They choose safety over significance. They choose comfort over courage. They choose to never leap. But you're not most men. You're listening to this. You're thinking about this, which means you're already feeling the call to leap. And that feeling, that's not fear. That's purpose. That's your soul telling you it's time to fly. The Bible is full of stories about men who lived, men who stepped into the unknown despite their fear. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9 says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That's not a suggestion, that's a command. Be strong, be courageous, do not be afraid. And then there's Proverbs chapter 28, verse 1. The wicked flee, though no one pursues them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The righteous are bold, they're courageous, they're not paralyzed by fear, they leap. And then there's Timothy chapter 1, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For the Spirit of God gave us, I'll restart that. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and a sound mind. You have been given power, not timidity. Power, love, a sound mind. So, what are you doing with it? Are you using it or are you hiding it? Because God didn't give you power so you could stay safe, He gave you power so you could leap, so you could fly, so you could reveal your light to the world. Let me give you some examples of men who leaped. Elon Musk. He could have stayed safe. He could have kept his money, but he leaped. He bet everything on electric cars and space travel. Most people thought he was crazy, but he leaped anyway. And now he's changing the world. Kobe Bryant. He could have played it safe, but he leaped. He pushed himself to be the best. He worked harder than anyone else. and everyone else. He revealed his light to the world and he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Nelson Mandela. He could have stayed safe, but he leaped. He stood up against apartheid, went to prison for 27 years, but he never stopped believing in the version, in his vision. He leaped and he changed the nation. The Apostle Peter, he was a fisherman. He could have stayed safe, but Jesus called him to leave everything and follow, to become a fisher of men, to reveal his faith to the world. And he became one of the greatest leaders in history. Your father or grandfather, maybe you don't know the famous examples, but think about the men in your own life who have succeeded. They leaped, they took risks, they revealed themselves to the world, and they became who they were meant to be. All these men had one thing in common. They lived despite their fear. They stepped into the unknown. They revealed their light and they flew. So, how do you know if you're meant to leave? How do you know if it's time? Here's the truth. You already know it. You can feel it. There's a calling inside you, a voice telling you it's time, vision of who you could become, a sense of purpose that you can't ignore. That feeling is not random. That feeling is purpose. That's your soul telling you it's time to fly. Most men ignore that feeling. They push it down. They tell themselves it's not practical, it's not safe, it's not realistic. But that feeling is real and it's calling you to leave. So here's the framework. First, acknowledge the calling. Don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Acknowledge it. Say it out loud. I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to become this. I'm meant to reveal this light to the world. Second, prepare for the leap. Don't just jump blindly. Prepare. Build the skills, build the knowledge, build the discipline. Prepare so that when you leave, you're as ready as you can be. Third, get uh, take the leap. At some point, you have to jump. You have to step into the unknown. You have to reveal yourself to the world. You have to fly. And fourth, get back up. If you fall, get back up. You already know how to do this. You've fallen before. You've gotten back up before. You know how to do it. That's the framework. Acknowledge, prepare, leap, get back up. Here's what I want you to understand. The cost of never leaping is higher than the cost of falling. If you leap and fall, you get back up. You learn, you try again, and eventually you fly. But if you never leap, you live a full life and never become who you are meant to be. You die before the world sees who you truly are. You live with regret. That's a cost that can't be recovered. That's a life that can't be relived. So the question isn't whether you can survive the fall. The question is whether you can survive never jumping. Because you can't. Not really. Not if you're meant to fly. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 that says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. There's an appointed time for every. You don't know when it's coming, but it's coming. And the question is, will you take it? Will you be the man who leaves? Or will you be the man who watches others fly? Will you, will you be the man who reveals his light to the world, or will you be the man who hides it? The appointed time is coming. Only question is whether you'll be ready for it. And the only way to be ready is to prepare, to build the discipline, build the skills, build the knowledge. So when the moment comes, you're ready to lead. That's the doctrine. That's the system. That's what separates the men who fly from the men who stay grounded. So here's what I want you to take from the episode. The deepest fear is not that you will fall. The deepest fear is that you will live a full life and never fly. That you never leaped. You already know what it takes to get back up. So the question is, are you willing to leap? Acknowledge the calling, prepare for the leap, take the leap, get back up. That's the framework. That's the system. And when you leap, the world will see who you truly are. That's the appointed time. That's the doctrine. Leap. This is built, not felt by the rice code. I'll see you all in the next one.